me try it again here. That's weird. It said it was streaming the whole time.
Everywhere else is streaming. For some reason, just YouTube got weird.
No,
Oh,
Facebook also got weird.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it did?
Yeah. Okay. All right. No, the live video has ended. That's weird.
Oh, no.
No, please. This was supposed to fix all our problems. No, the live video has ended. I hear it somewhere.
It's on YouTube. It's on Facebook.
It is working on Facebook?
Yeah, right now it is. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. Let's just keep going, but you're not seeing it on YouTube.
Well, I'll go and double. I think it is on YouTube.
Okay.
And now it's on Twitter. Cool.
Okay.
Sorry,
I'm just going to assume
everyone.
it's still working. I see it now. Someone in the chat, if it's working, please acknowledge that it is working. Hello.
After
I'll type
minutes
hello.
of deciding whether or not it's working.
Yeah.
Really
Live
weird.
streaming,
I don't know.
man. I don't know how you could be an audio or a
So
video engineer.
anyway,
Yeah.
Does
Kyle,
any
what
network want to
song-
pick us up?
Anyway, Kyle's
Kyle,
birthday is today. He's going to
birthday.
die one day.
Yeah,
Then-
soon I heard.
He's
Very
not sure
soon.
what song would play.
Very soon.
And then, Caitlin, what song would you like played at your funeral?
Oh, there's so many.
I mean, it's
For the slow motion montage part, which one? What song?
I think
give
it'd have to be a national song.
Okay.
There's a lot to pick from.
Yeah.
reminds me "What's My Age Again" by Blink-182.
Oh, okay. Not what's that one song?
Adam's song.
Adam's song.
No.
God, I'm an asshole. Anyway, guys, there's a lot going on in the country, and I'm not trying to make light of it. But protests continue to sweep the nation and the world. I saw over the weekend they took a statue of a slaver in England and threw it into the river. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
And Anthony
I have
Coates.
a, I have a
go
point
ahead.
on that.
Go for
I
it.
didn't realize how far they rolled it. I thought it was like from here to the bay and they just tossed it and they're like, "Mwah, see you later."
Yeah.
But someone mapped it and it was like 0.8 of a mile,
Wow.
like 0.8 miles.
And did the
they
crowd
rolled
just pull
that
it down?
They
Yeah,
pulled
they
it down.
pulled it down and rolled it.
They rolled it over so many times that part of the metal fell off, like his coat, So, and then everyone seemed really jazzed about it. I was very jazzed about it. In fact,
But did you see the picture of the two guys trying to get it out this morning with a pole?
No, they should
were
leave it in there.
They were so mad that their little friend was in the river.
I'm telling you,
They
if you left it in the water, it'd be a bigger tourist attraction. People would just come and go, "Wow, that's where they
I
threw it
think
into
so
the water."
too.
Yeah. That's part of history.
And that's where it should be. And they are taking down, we'll talk more about it with our guest, but before we bring him on, Jake, how are you feeling? You had a great show on Friday talking about a lot of this stuff.
Very
Yeah,
good. I wanted it to
mask
go
off.
longer.
Yeah.
About just the current state of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much the same. Just I'm like I know last show I was talking about the like protesting, like we need to do more than just protesting. But and I am glad to see how much people are coming together with the whole situation, with everything. Like every people across the world, like the 18 countries, all 50 states, like everybody, like they're protesting everywhere. I'm shocked. I'm shocked. I'm shocked they posting. I think they was posting in fucking Sterling Heights. I was shocked they was protesting out there and shit.
There was one in
Macomb.
Macomb, but there was also a Trump one in Macomb.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Of course there was.
of course, but like it was but it's just like I'm proud to see everything come together, and I'm just like and like just to like it just goes to show, like, people keep saying like oh fuck 2020, and it's like, really, like, this is probably gonna go down as like an historical year, like where shit changed. It's like real talk, like it's kind of good. This not kind of, it's good that this is happening. People finally woke the fuck up. Like this is this is like hindsight for your ass for 2020, pretty much.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like
Last week we talked about Kyle going to the protest. Nick, you went to the protest in Detroit?
Maybe.
Maybe? Okay.
Maybe I did.
Hypothetically, what are your thoughts on the protests?
What,
And
what the fuck?
it's called
Sure.
the Fifth Amendment.
Yeah.
I'll give you my thoughts. I just want to interject real quick. Like my connection's real bad, so sometimes you guys are cutting out.
Okay,
So if
you're
I don't
sounding
answer
good.
right away, it's because I didn't hear.
Okay.
Because it's all. But okay, I think number one, fuck the police. Most importantly, and I think it's very important to be media literate in this time, because what you're going to see on the news, the local news, the national news, is not what's happening. It's not what I may or may not have seen. Well, I may or may not have attended any marches. And
so of your hypothetical thing, would you may or may not have seen people throwing things, or do you think that's overplayed?
That he just made. No, I think the police were indiscriminately attacking people. They may or may not have been. I mean, I may or may not have been there to meet them in the streets, but I would say that to Jake's point earlier, that I've never experienced solidarity. I've never seen anything like that in my life, that kind of solidarity. And it was really encouraging. And I think, people have had enough.
Yeah, these are words I've never heard you use before, Nick, like encouraging and
a day of reckoning
or
solidarity. I used to say it all the time. And everyone would roll their eyes at me.
This is a softer side of Nick, guys.
Rolling their eyes now.
I'm seeing the softer side of Nick.
I went to another.
Is that what you wanted to say, Caitlin?
We got a couple comments on our YouTube. One from Von Wink. One he
I
just
wish I
wanted to let us
could
know.
hear you guys.
He just wanted to let us know that our YouTube stream is working.
Okay, thank you.
And
that's
then
Victor,
said,
by the way.
Yep, I know. And then, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say, yeah, I know.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you. And then he said 2020 could go down as the year the US became a fascist dictatorship, especially if people either don't or aren't able to vote in November. I mean, I think that's a whole separate problem.
Yeah.
Because it's important to vote, but also like for fucking who?
Yeah, for whom?
Yeah.
For fucking who?
For old Jolt and Joe.
And what were you gonna say? What were you gonna say, Caitlin?
I was just gonna agree with Nick, being down here, living down here. It has not felt or been crazy or wild, and there's a lot of stuff that the news isn't showing, like people setting tables up, and there's free food and water and like all of this stuff for the protesters. And it is just a remarkable thing to see. And
now you're in Detroit, right, Caitlin?
Yes, ma'am.
As is Nick.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah. You're, so is it like a lot happening outside your building or?
No, it's at Michigan and 3rd every day. So but it's not far. It's about a half a mile or so from me. But I mean, there's helicopters usually for a little while, and then it's fine. Where did Jake go?
I don't know. But now that Jake's gone, why don't we bring in our guest? He is one of the 4 hosts of Mask Off. He's a talented improviser in his own right, member of the farm team. Welcome, Anthony Coates, and welcome back, Jake.
Hi, Anthony. I miss you.
Hi, Anthony.
Hi.
He's connecting to audio, so can you hear us, Anthony?
Again.
Yeah, I can hear y'all.
Okay, great. Jake, are you with us too?
Yes.
Somebody has their phone on.
It might be Anthony. Do you have your audio on for the stream?
I just turned it off.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Well, welcome. We were just talking about the protests in Detroit and how they're being portrayed as more, I guess, rambunctious and violent than they really are. And your thoughts on that, and just about in general. We asked Jake his thoughts. I was complimenting him on your guys' show on Friday and the one the week before.
Oh, thank you.
yeah, and just like your thoughts about what's going on. Jake was talking about like the long-term ramifications of, the protests, and I know that's something you've talked about a little bit on Mask Off.
Yeah. First of all, I want to say what's up, everybody. Good to see everybody.
Hey, Tony, I
What's
miss
up?
you.
Yeah.
Big Tone, what up,
too.
though?
Good.
My Santa
What
up,
Claus.
Always good to see
Oh,
another Phil.
Santa.
My Santa.
Aw, I miss
I'm
our
here.
show,
I'm
guys.
here. Yeah, good to see everybody. And I like to say, man, with so much going on, improv is really taking a back seat to something that's very important right now, and it's social injustice, man. Like things got to change. And as far as what Jake was saying about long-term course, I would like to see something transpire. All this protesting is great. I feel like I've never seen the camaraderie in which it's taking place, white, black, whatever, it's going down, and it's really cool, but I think I had a conversation with you, Tony, about how there needs to be more in place, because if we're just marching to be marching, we get nowhere. It'll be another year, and it'll be Brian Jenkins and got killed, and we doing the same thing. So I can only hope and pray. I'm not on the front lines. I'm not going to the protest. That's not my lane. But I can only hope and pray that the people that are there, they're fighting for something instead of just, okay, this is what we doing. You know what I mean? Because I have to say that my generation missed the mark. We missed the mark. We've had opportunities to do the same thing, but we never had this much of a overwhelming success that we're seeing right now, where the whole world is standing in unison, and that's deep.
Right. I have a quick point on that, because I don't know, like doesn't it feel a little bit different this time around in a way? I feel like there's already some things starting to change, some policy changes. Minneapolis announced that they want to abolish the police, which I think is fucking giant. So does it feel different this time?
I don't feel anything different. Like I said, until something happens that's concrete that we see, nothing can feel different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
On the inside, as far as being a black man, it's still that weight that's over on your shoulders when you walk out your house every day. As a black woman, it's still that weight on your shoulders that your babies may not come home every day. You know what I mean? This is all great. I'm waiting to see what's the recourse, what happens after this. So that's where I'm at with it. Like
to add on to what Tony said, it's like kind of like what I was saying last week about protests. Like the protest is good. I'm glad to see everybody come together, but we gotta be on some different shit. Got to get a plan and everything, and like seeing like the whole like if the police does get abolished or whatever, or gets defunded or something happens, like we kind of like break down the police into something different or whatever. Like I just like something needs to happen to show like how much power we have, how much power people have, instead of like waiting on fucking politicians and shit and or celebrities and all that.
You don't think the politicians are doing it? Didn't you see that picture they posted today? You don't think they're doing enough?
I think that's bullshit. I think you and I both know Republican and Democrat, they really
the same,
and they at a point where they're begging for the vote for the people. I mean, they're begging for the response.
That was some of the most pandering bullshit I've ever seen.
And then you take a knee. You take a knee after you condemn Colin Kaepernick, ostracize this man, make him lose his job. You know what I mean? We don't even know where Colin Kaepernick is right now, but every look at this shit. Look at this shit.
Yeah.
Look at
fucking
these
bullshit, man.
So embarrassing.
I can only imagine how many of them can get up off that knee without help.
I don't want to look at it.
What's next? What's next? FUBU?
Tomorrow? What's next is me voting for them all. They look so good. So.
Oh my God.
And also the kente cloth was a nice
that's a nice touch. Hey, look, now all of a sudden we're going to start celebrating Kwanzaa now. That's what that looks like.
Kwanzaa.
Yeah.
By the end of the week, they all gonna have Questlove froze and Afro Picks and shit.
No, bro, they gonna change their name. They gonna be Michelle X and Sarah Mohammed. Get out of here. It's all for show. It's all for show, man.
I will say that, because we were talking about this, Anthony, like what is the effect, if anything, of the protests? And I will say that you're seeing a lot of things about like Congress saying they're going to review how like policing is done. Minneapolis, their council voting to defund the police, and we could talk a little bit more about what that means. And there have been initial steps taken. Whether that means, just because the council votes to defund the Minneapolis Police Department doesn't mean it's going to happen. But I will say that the effect is that politicians and governments are being forced to at least give the appearance of addressing the issues. The question is whether there's going to be follow through on it.
Excuse me. I watched something today, right? And one of the biggest things that they said was all this talk means nothing because of the unions that they have in place. You could talk all day long about debunking this and debunking that, but it's a reason why people have these unions to speak up and represent the police and whoever else that's a part of it. So I don't know. I don't really think what's a debunk anyway. Debunk, there has to be law and order. You know what I'm saying? Despite race, gender, color, there has to be some form of law and order. You know what I'm saying? What does debunk? Remove it? You can't remove that. You know what I mean? Make it look different. What's looking different? Take guns out. No one wants to take guns out. And that's a big thing that America keep talking about. What is it? The First Amendment? You able to bear guns. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I think that's something they should explore. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you should do that.
And that's the thing, a lot of police departments around the world, like Japan comes to mind, England, largely they don't carry guns or use guns, like to the extent the United States, but also their citizenry don't have the access to guns that we do.
Right.
Exactly.
So I also think that like the police there's so many things that police are called for and they're not trained for like any of it. So like, I think like the people that pull you over and give you tickets should not be the same people that are like coming to a domestic dispute, and because they're trained different, they're completely different things. I don't think the people that pull you over should be able to arrest you.
Well, to be fair, I think police have a lot of experience in domestic violence.
Well,
that is true,
and that's the thing that
resolving it. And I don't know, like I think in putting funding like the whole defunding movement, they put funding towards like community outreach and other places.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Totally agree with that.
Yeah, because right now, like the police are there to create criminals and not the other way around, not to produce crime. They want to make criminals so they can make money.
Yeah.
Go for it, Anthony.
To add to Kyle's point, back in the 60s, late 60s, 70s, what they did was took away a lot of those supports in those communities. You know what I'm saying? When I was a kid, I used to go to the local recreation center, and I was a dare kid, drug abuse resistant awareness or something like that. I forgot. Education. Yeah, but whatever. You get it. You know what I'm saying? But
I went to dare. I forgot everything they taught me.
Yeah, I forgot. But the main thing that I remember is the Blue Pigs. It was a band that came around it. Anyway, at the end of the day, those programs they have put in place, it helped me a lot, tremendously. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't rob people. You know what I'm saying? I don't do any of this negative stuff. Not saying everybody shouldn't do that. Well, everybody shouldn't do that. X that. What I'm saying is,
you'll have some smokers that might disagree with you, possibly in this chat. But
how about that? But what I'm saying ultimately is, when you take the resources away from a community that drastically needs those resources, what you do, you open yourself up to everything that comes along with that. You know what I'm saying? So when the police talking about I got 50 million jobs, he's absolutely correct. Because where's the social worker that used to handle the stuff in the community that involves social work? Where's the psychiatrist and the social worker hand in hand? You know what I mean? It doesn't play out when you don't have those resources.
Yeah, well then that's the look at how much funding could be used for those types of things to be in place if the police was not getting the amount of money.
Yeah, the amount of funding that the police force gets. yeah, is it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like the number, they're insanity.
Like in New York, it's like I think in excess of $1 billion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, this is just to put things in perspective. It's so easy to become a cop. It's twice as many hours.
Yeah, to become a barber.
To become a barber than it is to become a cop.
Wow, how'd you know that, Caitlin? That's crazy.
1,500.
That's what I was
going to
bring
become a
up too.
cop.
1,500 hours to become a barber, and I think it's like 860 to become a cop.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and
Wow.
I you have so much power if you're a cop and you're enforcing laws. You should at least have a bachelor's degree and like have study academically on those issues as well as the physical training.
Yeah, and also, taking maybe social services classes, taking counseling classes, learn how to talk to people.
Yeah.
De-escalation class, shit like that. Like, I don't understand why that's not standard practice.
One thing I keep hearing a lot about is the power of the police unions. Like, even if there are cops that want to do these things, the power of the police unions, and it makes it so hard to like enforce any violations by any of these guys that it's almost like a failed cause. You have to either buy in or get out. And I worked in a business where that I saw the union protect poor workers or workers that were like sexually harassing women, and it was just sort of like, oh, what are you going to do? So what do you guys feel about that? Do you think that the unions are getting too much blame or not enough in this police union specifically?
Well, I'm sorry. I'm going to say this. Just look at all the people that have died at the hands of police up until this point. And just look at the guy who just recently cleared George Floyd, where he had all this stuff on his rap sheet.
Yeah, like 17 violations.
Yeah, like 17 violations. And you do not look into that. If you're like internal affairs, sit this man down and say, just, hey, look, it's okay. Maybe this is not the job for you. Because any other job, you know what I mean? I've had conversations like that with people, and people have had conversations like that with me. Hey, look, Tony, we need you to get more pieces out. I don't think I could do it. I can't do it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I just think if it's not working for you, don't wait till you kill somebody. And then you realize that, hey, look, maybe we should have got him out of there a long time ago.
We got another comment on our YouTube from Von Wick saying in response to our conversation that college-educated recruits might be more inclined to question their orders. Any thoughts on that? Yeah.
Some agencies hire college-educated kids. There's some places that you have to have a certain level of education to become cops. I know in Philadelphia, you have to at least have an associate's degree, if not a bachelor's degree. So that may or may not fit everywhere, but that's a good idea.
Right.
We have some comments from the Facebook chat too. Lauren Dupree, they're so pathetic. She's talking about the members of the House like kneeling. Cloth. And then Molly Lampy said, we funded services for mental health and social work. This would minimize a lot of crime.
100%.
Yeah, let's also talk about like how the funding for the police takes away from other funding, like education.
Or maybe
Go ahead, Nick.
Well, it turns out that when people are disenfranchised and impoverished, they do desperate things in order to survive. So maybe instead of having all of these pigs armored like Batman at like 10K a guy, maybe take some of that money and I don't know, spread it around a little bit.
It's true. After 9/11, so many police departments got like such excessive funding, like even rolled, basically outfitted like SWAT teams. And I mean, I've heard cops openly say like, well, you're going to want to use that. If you have this like high tech gear, it's like being like a little kid. And also it's strange that police don't even, to be a cop doesn't even require a license.
I believe they have tests to make sure that you're very stupid and a certain personality type. They won't hire you.
Who posted that? One of you posted that.
I've heard that.
That's how
there was like IQ tests that they like didn't want cops to have like a higher IQ because they would be less like be less likely to pay attention and less likely to follow orders.
I disagree with that. I have a lot of cop friends, and I happen to work in an environment that deals with cops, and I have to say they're not stupid people, period. You know what I mean? So a lot of what the media does is they sensationalize what the villain is. They make the villain bigger than what it is. And you know, I can say, hey, look, this dude that killed George Floyd is one out of a whole group of apples. But I think it's a little bit more deeper than that. We need to look at the system itself, not just the cops.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because when you just focus on the cops, you miss the whole perspective of what's going on.
Right.
The whole police system is fucking, the whole institution is fucking racist. Like, and this a whole bunch of other institutions are racist as fuck.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
a lot of
the penal system is 10 times worse.
Yeah, well, and that's who the cops work for. You know what I mean? Like,
and not just that, but like at the education system, social services, you know, like
all of it's designed to be that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like if schools are underperforming, they take funding away from it, which seems like it should be the opposite. You know what I mean? Like,
well, a lot of this, what I see is, and I saw there was a piece in the New York Times where I forgot the writer's name, but she was saying that rather than frame this current moment so much as being anti-racism, it should be fighting anti-blackness, because there is a difference. You know, like I think that the way that Black people are portrayed in this country, even to people arriving like my parents and stuff like that. I had a friend who's a child of immigrants too, just posting about how like Indians are like super racist, which is very true. Like, you know, like parents and their friends, and if I talk to like my other Asian friends, like Koreans, Chinese, you see the same thing. So it's like,
yeah, I agree, Tony. You racist as fuck sometimes.
Hell yeah, you know.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, it's killing me inside to host this, you know, but I do it because I know I can be a better person.
You're learning one step at a time. One step at a time.
No, but and this is something going to talk about with Tony is, you know, they talk about, I'm a big believer in this, in that learning, just having friends of different races kind of takes the fear out of it. Because I think when I was younger, I was taught to fear Black people, you know, and I didn't have a lot of encounters with Black people. And I thought there was a certain way. When I got to college, you know, I hung out with mostly like Black and Indian people, and it totally changed how I looked at things. It made me realize how I was taught to look at things.
Yeah.
You know? But
I mean, that actually terrifies me a little bit, because, you know, I grew up
Black people.
Yeah. No, I grew up, you know, in Albany, where it's very culturally diverse, and my husband grew up in Long Island with culturally diverse, but we live in such a small white town now that my kids don't have that culture. So like trying to find ways to, you know,
to find Black people.
Yeah, trying to find the Black people to hang out with is
just flag them down on the street, you know. Like I
just go around for a drive looking for a Black person.
Yeah, just get in. Want to play
like,
my kids for an hour?
Yeah, get in my van.
I'm trying to save my kids. I gotta save my kids.
It's hard. It's hard.
No, but I will say, like, if you're a minority in America, you know, because we always kind of talk about presenting it like as a white issue, like, well, I know so many white people, probably the majority of white people in America don't know a single person of color, so, you know, including all the rural outlying areas, don't know like someone who's Black or person of color. But if you're a minority, you're forced into diversity. You know, you have no choice.
Yeah.
So Anthony, we were talking a little about that. It's like you have no choice, but it also gives you a chance to learn about other races and ethnicities, and it makes you more open to them.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think I said that on one of the shows that when it comes to diversity, we as
I appropriated it from a mask off. That's true.
Yeah, thank you. We get forced to be in a diverse situation where we have to not necessarily make white people comfortable, but make them comfortable. You know what I mean?
No, I think that's exactly right.
You know what I mean? I remember when I was a kid, and my mom used to always tell us about white and Black people, you know, not even on no racism, but just saying, hey, look, just be aware where we going. If we going to Kmart, stay near me. Y'all remember where Kmart used to be on, I think it was like St. Clair Shores or whatever, in St. Clair Shores. But anyway, she used to always say, hey, look, stay close to me. You know what I'm saying? You go past 8 Mile. It was this stigmatism too about going past 8 Mile. You, as a Black person, you will get messed with, because it's clear they didn't want you past 8 Mile. The police will harass you 10 times more. You know what I'm saying? They would just do all this crazy stuff. So my mom will always be, always be hyper aware of what's going on. So when I went off to college, I went to small town college in Ohio, and it was a complete culture shock for me because it was the reversal of you guys. You know what I mean? I had never been around white people, but I know, you know what I'm saying?
How scared were you? I think white people are fucking terrifying.
I was scared to the point where, I mean, I know my culture. I grew up learning about culture. So my main thing was I'm not being in an environment around these crackers because one of them going to try to kill me. You know what I mean? That's the way I was growing up. You know what I mean? So when, you know, my freshman year, I had my Frederick Douglass hanging up, my pro-black sign everywhere. And I isolated myself in my college dorm because I was scared to understand that no matter what skin tone it is, we all bleed red. You know what I mean? So more and more I start stepping out. And more I start stepping out, I start understanding, hey, look, you know, black people are no different than white people. White people are no different than black people. But it'll be me thinking this way, not someone that's white thinking that way. With white people that I experienced, it was always, hey, look, say like when I was in school, it was like, I'm from the hood. So every urban situation we be talking about in some of my courses, I would be the example, so to speak. And I'm like, just drive your ass there and find out. Don't ask me, because you're not going to get a better interpretation if you experience it on your own. So I don't know.
So Jake and Tony, question for both of you. Do you get sick? Because I know Daniel kind of talked about that on Mask Up. Is like he doesn't want to hear questions about it or have to explain things. Do you find that tiring or being like kind of like an ambassador for your race? Whether you like it or not. Especially in improv.
I try to like see like the good in people, like, oh, like, all right, like you trying to like learn. Wait, well, so Tony, you asking like if they're like action? I don't know if I understood your question. I don't know why.
Well, just being like you're whether you like it or not, you know, like Charles Barkley back in the day, he's like, I'm not a role model, you know, but whether you like it or not, as a minority in improv, and especially if you work in a job where there's not a lot of people like you, you're basically you're setting the bar for your race, you know, like people, whether you like it or not, their experience with you is going to like color how they judge the entire race. Like I'll give you an example. Like one of my jobs, I was working and everybody liked the work I did. I got along with everybody. And then this girl joined like for a temporary assignment, like a rotation. And she was straight trash. You know what I mean? Like she was bad at her job. She's always on the phone or whatever. And then one guy said to me, he's like, man, it's good you got here first, you know? And what he was saying was like, if I had come after her, it would have been a much tougher time for me because everyone's be like, oh, Tony's like this girl, you know, rather than the other way around. That's what I'm talking about. Like, do you ever feel that responsibility? Like, because I feel like forced into that sometimes, even though like you don't have a choice. You can't say,
well, I'm kind of so I guess like when they ask me questions, like I was thinking more to like what white people like ask me questions about black culture.
That too, but that's part of it. That's part of it.
Like, cause I don't feel that. I tell them like my perspective, but I let them know like, hey, like this is like I said, I'm not the representation of all black people or whatever. But then also there are times when I'm kind of oblivious to that, to like the whole like, well, not oblivious, just kind of like I kind of don't give a fuck to the part like, hey, like, you know, there's a lot of ignorant white people out there that's gonna look how you act and think all black people act this way because sometimes I be on some wild shit in front of white people sometimes, and some black friends will like kind of like why are you acting like that around them? Why are you saying N-word so much around them? Like why are you doing it? Like what are you doing it? And it's like, are you trying to like act out for them? It's like I'm just being me, man. Like I don't know. Like so sometimes like I don't know. I kind of like think back and like, shit, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have said this. Maybe I need to tone down. Maybe I need to tone down the
rhetoric,
the Hennessy or whatever. Like I gotta do like all that shit, like that. So
Tony, what are your thoughts on this? I mean, there is a word for it. It's called code switching, and I feel like all minorities are forced into it at some point, like acting a certain way or being aware of, like, it could be something as much as like starting trouble. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to get the reputation on your job as like, if you speak out about certain things, you can get that reputation of being angry or a troublemaker.
You know, I'm gonna say this. I think that's some fuck shit that I would even have to put on this mask and a code switch. You know what I'm saying? Like, white people that I know, they're just white. That's what it is. They being who they are every day. You know what I'm saying? If they come around me and start farting, that's what he do. He just farts. You know what I'm saying? But me, I have to remember I'm out in public and I can't do shit that you do. You know what I'm saying? It comes to a point where you start realizing, like, yo, it's unfair the way the world is. You know what I mean? And that's not just for black people. That's for women too. Women always get treated like that. Like, yo, if you dating one guy and you just happen to be seen with a different guy, you're automatically considered a hoe. You know what I mean? And that's unfortunate. And I think a lot of it is society stereotypes, and a lot of it plays up to the media. You know what I'm saying? With race, sexism, all this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, why can't you just be you? You know what I mean? And one thing that I like, and I'm looking at your background, it's like a spaceship. One thing when they show like comic books and Star Wars or Star Trek, they don't really give a fuck about what you look like. And I'm like, damn, they ugly as shit. But at the end of the day, it's not about what you look like. It's about what you bring to the table.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I get that.
As far as what you're saying about being a representative or being an ambassador for black people.
Well, I'm talking more specifically in improv, like for the purposes of this conversation, because there are so few, you know.
Improv.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not an ambassador. I feel like I'm about to say some Charles Barkley shit. You know me, but
that's fine. I mean, I'm not saying
I'm not an ambassador for black improvisers. I'm an ambassador for improv. You know what I mean? If anything. So when you start putting labels on shit, that's when things go wrong. Right. You know, you constantly labeling me. Hey, you know, Tony's an Indian improviser. That's already set a tone in somebody's brain that, well, there's not a lot of Indian improvisers, or you know what I mean, or Kate is a white female improviser. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? You are? Wow. I thought she was a fucking good improviser. You know
what I'm saying, like it or not, I know that I carry that. You know what I mean? And I do resent it sometimes. You know, like, oh, I just want to be the person that just like does, you know, wilds out or whatever. And even if I do it, I realize that, and I don't, you know, I would say largely I don't let it affect me in improv, but I'm also aware that, like it or not, my behavior is going to have an effect for the next person that comes along. Like when I started improv, everyone's like, oh yeah, you're like blah, 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 that used to do improv. Like, and then like, you know, moved to Chicago, like everyone's like, yeah, remember that guy? You know what I mean? Like, and so you realize like, oh, it's like, it's in the sense of being like not white, you know, like there's white and there's everything else. You're like slotted in, you know what I mean? And
I do have like a pound. Sorry, Caitlin, did you want to go?
Yeah, go for it, Caitlin.
Oh, I was just gonna say that I was at the very first night that Anthony came to Planet Ant, and I'll never forget it. And I just wanted to, because
he's like, it's just his energy. You're so amazing to be around. And
but I remember because I think you either won a prize, something happened where like you stood out, and I was like, oh. And I always noticed new faces. And then you were back the next week, and then I think you left your coat or something, and I let you into the hall.
Okay.
We had a little exchange, and then you were there every other Monday, and then we were on the farm team together.
Yeah, man, that's what's up.
Yeah.
Aww.
And speaking of like improv in general, like Second City, Kate, I know you wanted to talk about this.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say that on the other side of the coin of like, you know, putting labels on people, I also feel like that's also a way, you know, to show power. You know what I'm saying? So like with Second City, with their all minority troop, 3P, they advertise that they are the all minority troop out of Second City. And I think that's a way for them to have representation, which I feel is really important as well. So it's like the other side of the coin, like you don't want to label because, you know, when you label, that's what people think about it. But at the same time, representation is also important.
Yeah, and that's a pretty dope troop. I saw them.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
They're
they were great at the Little Comedy Festival.
Yeah. Speaking of 3P and Second City, we talked about it a little bit, but Tony, did you see the letter that was sent to Second City today?
No, I didn't. I can't say that I did.
Oh, cool. A whole bunch of Black alumni and also current Second City employees and students and teachers sent out this huge letter to Second City, basically, you know, condemning them for all of the experiences that they had at Second City with racism, which I didn't even know like was going on there, which is it's
I mean, to me, like when you see like an institution that's like very white, like over a long period of time, like Saturday Night Live or Second City, that's not surprising. Also, Sam Richardson was one of the co-signers of that letter, member of the Planet at Home team.
Yeah. So some of the things that they called for is a thorough investigation and removal of teachers, producers, directors, and other administration staff guilty of racial transgressions, cultural appropriation, mental and verbal abuse against Black artists, a thorough investigation, organized wide and immediate removal of anyone guilty of sexual misconduct and sexual assault, a revision and proper accreditation I can't spell it. I love the list anyway. So these are all horrible words for me. Thank you. Regardless of alumni standing of the contributions of Black artists who help build your stage. So they're calling for a whole like investigation into every single staff member, every single employee, teacher, student, and removal. And I just think it was really fucking strong. Some of the people that signed it, obviously, like Chris Redd from SNL, he's also in 3P, Ashley Nicole Black, Amber Ruffin, Shantira Jackson, Dwayne Perkins, who I believe is a writer on Brooklyn Nine-Nine now.
Tawny Newsome.
Tawny Newsome. Just like a powerhouse of people. Sam Richardson, like you said, signed it. And I just thought this was such a fucking bold thing because they're not politely, they're demanding that these things happen, and I think that's big.
I think that's crazy when things are funny and it don't become funny no more. You know what I mean? Right? And especially in improv, you know, what you consider to be funny, that shit ain't funny. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a prime example of it right there.
I want to share a story with y'all real fast. So
story time.
Yeah. So as y'all know, I'm on the Resco at Go, do showdowns and stuff. One time, one night, I did showdown, and it was like after a show, and this white lady comes to me at the bar, and she just like she tell me like, "Hey, you're really funny, but you need to let your blackness show more." I'm like, "What the fuck?"
You said it was a white lady?
A white lady, yeah, white lady. You need to let your blackness show more, and I'm like, "Wait, what the fuck? Like what?" And then the bar manager at the time there, she got super pissed about it and everything. It was crazy. And I was like, that's fucking weird. Then the same lady, I saw her again, like I think in like fucking like Royal Oak or something. I saw her again. And she came to me. It was like, hey, I saw you go comedy. I said some stupid shit to you when I was drunk one time. Saying like, you need to let your blackness show more. I was like, oh yeah, I do remember. That was dumb as fuck. You know what I'm saying? And then she was trying to say, and what she was trying to say was like, and I want y'all opinion on this because I don't. But like, she said that when I said that, I was kind of like saying like what was she trying to say? She was trying to say that she could tell that I was holding back what I really wanted to do, like what the type of stuff I wanted to do, rather than all the weird shit that all the white people wanted to do or something like that. That's what she was kind of say, but she said she didn't mean to say black. But I thought like I understood what you
No,
said,
she
but I thought the
meant
shit
it.
was fucking weird. I thought it was like just weird.
Was she right though? Like, were you holding back? Not necessarily in terms of blackness, but just like as a performer.
Were you not being
Yeah.
black enough? Is that what you just asked him?
Were you not
Yeah.
turning
Homie.
up?
Were you not
turning
turning up that blackness?
Did she
I
say
don't know.
something? Okay.
I don't know, man. Like
Caitlin, what were you were gonna say something?
I was just going to say from my personal experience, so you were going to say, Jake, that you wanted our opinion. I think that you always want to push the envelope, and I think you're very
Agreed.
comfortable.
Mhm.
And it makes it's like you said, make people fucking uncomfortable to talk about the things that aren't being talked about. And we had like a really good improv rehearsal one day where like that kept being like a common thread of like, let's take it there. And it was a really like, I like enjoyed that rehearsal because I don't think those are the types of things that really get addressed or touched on or whatever. But like, I think you and Anthony have always, you know, leaning into that, like talk about it, you know, no one's making a joke about being black or in any negative way, but it's like hey, like if we're going to have this conversation, we're going to have it and it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Well, I think one thing to do. Well, Tony, you was about to say something? Sorry.
I was just gonna say I make jokes about black people all the time.
I was talking about Tone. You was about to say something?
Okay. Tony, go ahead.
Oh, my bad, Tone. You know what I mean? All we need is another Tone. It's Tony.
Yeah. Neither of us have ever heard that joke before.
Tony is Tony. Tone is Tone. Right
Yeah.
now.
I'll let
Too
you know.
much.
Yeah.
I'm Kyle.
What? Happy birthday, Kyle.
Happy birthday, Kyle.
Happy birthday, Kyle. My motherfucking Kyle. Yeah.
I'm Kyle.
That's what's up. I miss you, bro.
I miss you, man.
To see you, man. Yeah. I was going to say, man, you know, I think I understood where the lady was coming from about holding back. You know what I mean? Sometimes we do hold back because it goes back to that making people feel comfortable. You know what I mean?
That shit our mamas told us and shit.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Our white people. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and our mamas don't say make white people feel comfortable, but they say don't do shit so you don't get locked the fuck up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there's always a degree of fear that takes place when you're not around a lot of black people. You know what I mean? You have a sense of fear.
One false move, you're canceled. You're canceled.
Did we just cancel Nick?
I think he said he has a bad connection, so he might have just dropped out. I'll see if he comes back.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, you know, it's that a lot of people have disagreements. A lot of people have misunderstandings with each other because it's a fear that plays part in each other. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? When you see me, well, I used to have dreads, you know what I'm saying? But now I'm bald head, bunch of tattoos. I'm a big guy. Until I open my mouth, a lot of people see me and they looking like, whoa, what the fuck? You know what I mean? I hope you don't rob me, beat me up or whatever. But, you know, unless you physically have a conversation with somebody, that's when you get a different perspective on who they are as an individual.
Yeah, and I think more of that needs to happen. You know, I was talking a little bit about last week too, is about, you know, it's fine to have like, you know, all black troops or all, you know, LGBTQ troops or, you know, all Asian troops, all women troops, all male troops. Well, maybe not all male troops, but well, we don't have enough all white male troops. I will say that.
We don't have enough all white male troops.
Yeah,
Right.
I miss those. But just adding a person is, you know what I mean? Like diversity to me is always involves integration, you know, like if you have all of one, that's just a different kind of homogeny, you know, and I don't know that you necessarily learn about. And sometimes I feel like having things like that make the majority, in this case, white, feel like, okay, well, we're doing something. It's fine now because look, there's a troop here that's all black or all Asian or all women, you know, and I don't think that's the case. I really am a believer in integrative theory. Go ahead, Tony.
I think that's what made the troop that I'm a part of, Andy's Coffin, so dynamic. You know what I'm saying? When we stepped on the stage, it's not just about white or black. It's about issues, surrounding issues that's going on. You know what I'm saying? You're dealing with female perspectives. Well, we were dealing with female perspectives. We lost a couple, but regardless of the fact that, you know, we had so many dynamic people that was a part of that troop. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, Yeah, so I understand exactly where you saying because of the fact that when Andy's Coffin was popping, that's kind of sort of what we live by.
Yeah.
We hit all fronts that things are comfortable and uncomfortable, so to speak.
Yeah, go ahead, Jake.
To add to that, one thing that I try to get across to every improv theater that's trying to make things more diverse or get like a big thing is like not just diversifying like the type of people, but diversify your comedy. You know what I'm saying? Because there are differences. Like I ain't trying to like stereotype people, but you know there are differences in comedy with different people, and you know what I'm saying. Like especially there is comedy that white people like a lot, and there is like a certain type of comedy that's more catered toward blacks. It's not because like color, but it's kind of like your culture and stuff like that.
Right.
You're
working from your knowledge base.
Yes, you know what I'm saying. And there's differences in comedy. You know what I'm saying. Like diversify that. Like stop doing like most of these theaters are white. Stop doing like the fucking the fuck world shit all the time, and let's get grounded and stuff. And like saying like you know what I'm saying. Stuff like that, like just diversity. I think that's a big thing too that people don't understand. Like, cause I know, like, I've had friends come see me, and like, they'll have a good time. They'll have a good time, but they'll say like, I don't know, man. Like the shit is it's just too weird for me. Like they just like the shit is just too weird. Like they're talking about like raping bunnies and shit. And like, what the fuck is this stuff? Like it's crazy shit.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't know, like
and also bringing up. I like to bring up race, as a lot of you know, and just like uncomfortable issues. But you'll hear that from the audience. They'll be like, "Ooh," even just the mentioning. You know what I mean? And that's the kind of stuff I think that, I mean, I don't know. It has to stop. But I think there's too many people that are scared to even bring up stuff like of like being perceived as like dark or edgy or racist. I just wanted to say that.
Sorry, my headphones died.
Okay.
So I had to go borrow my daughter's.
Oh,
nice.
Yes.
You guys like them?
Should we? I mean, I don't want to.
Yeah, we are running short on time. I do want to bring the musical guest out. Since Andy's not here with us tonight, Anthony, you want to stay on and hang with us for the rest of the show?
Let's do it, especially on Kyle's birthday.
Kyle, happy birthday, Kyle!
Yeah.
Every time someone says Kyle, you have to
honestly, I'm so happy to be with you guys. It's always the highlight of the week, but today makes it more special. And
and
it's so weird that when
this is the second birthday in a row that I've hung out with Jake. So
all right.
Oh wow.
It's so weird, Kyle, that when the quarantine's over, we still won't get to hang out.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm coming home in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So.
In the chat, Tony, there's a shout out to Andy's Coffin from Graham Leslie. So,
Nice.
Kyle, while I bring on our musical guests, Bad Bloom, why don't you give them a little intro?
All right. Well, this next band is called Bad Bloom.
Mm-hmm.
It's two people very near and dear to my heart. I've known Jay a long time, and as soon as we met Kate, we became instantly friends, and they're great people. And I wanted to book them on my birthday so I could spend time with them on this day.
That's dope. That's dope.
Happy birthday, Kyle.
Thank you.
Hi, Kate and Jay. You are sideways right now.
Oh, great.
Oh, no.
Hold on.
We'll fix that.
Okay.
They're boxed in sideways.
Yeah.
Kate Rogers.
There was a crash, and then something happened.
Now.
Yep, now you're right ways up.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
We're
Hello,
here.
my friends.
Welcome.
Happy birthday, Kyle.
Happy birthday, Kyle.
Thank you. I deserve all this attention, especially with what's going on in the world.
Who's the third band member there?
What's that?
This is Riley. This is Kyle's best friend.
Oh, he's cute.
I spent like a week or a weekend, maybe like 3 or 4 days in New York at their apartment, and they both worked, and I hung out in the apartment with Riley, and she did not want to come near me at all.
Oh wow! Because it seems so friendly too.
Because of the thing that you do.
Yeah, and
with the peanut butter.
Yeah.
The very end, we were cool. We were cool like the last day.
So civil?
Civil, yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
I mean, it was better than whenever he first came because she barked at him probably for an hour straight. So
Wow. Is she usually very friendly with others except for Kyle?
pretty much.
I wish we could say that. No, she's a rescue. She's just afraid of everyone. So, I mean, especially Kyle, and that
makes
I'm a
sense
bad
though. I get it.
Yeah. Now the two of you, I know because we were talking about race the whole episode. You were a little like, I don't know, say like uncertain. You know, you didn't want to come off as seeing like, oh well, we're having this heavy discussion. All of a sudden, like here's some music.
Right.
But you know, like I was talking to Jake and Tony and some other members here about, you know, I think it's important to keep going. You know what I mean? Like keep it moving. Like we're having these things going on, but that doesn't mean there's not time to like celebrate music and show unity. You know, even if that is through music.
And by the way, I think that's a lot of people use like music and comedy as a way to like deal with their mental health issues. So I don't feel like
or avoid them.
Sure.
One and the same, buddy. One and the same.
That also to protest. So
yeah.
Art in general has always been used for that.
Hell yeah.
But what's you said you were going to some of the marches of protests in New York. How's that?
So we're trying to be COVID conscious because we just have a situation coming up where we need to be around family. But I did go to a march in Williamsburg, and it was amazing. There was a lot of people. I had to pop out when it got too packed, but I was able to march for about an hour, and super inspiring. And then in our neighborhood, there is a smaller protest almost every night down at the courthouse in Long Island City. So we're able to go to those and, you know, keep distance from everyone and show support. And there's speakers at those, and those are really great. But New York is killing it right now. We just keep track every night. And the other night, there was 25,000 people in one march going through the city. There's usually 3 or 4 marches going on at all times here. And it's just super inspiring, and it just makes you feel proud of your city, you know, that everyone's out there.
Yeah, that's great. Mm-hmm. Yes. Well, to switch gears about the band,
Kyle, you can do this, buddy.
Well,
these are your friends. Just talk to them like you're
seriously.
So nervous. It's your birthday, Kyle.
Yeah, you can't
let
mess
your
it
nuts
up.
hang, Kyle. Let your nuts hang. It's your
I know
birthday.
the story. I'm just trying to phrase how to say it.
I know. That's why we're all laughing, Kyle.
Fuck with me, man. This is my day, dude.
I'm sorry, Kyle. Happy birthday.
I'm leaving. I'm sorry I brought you guys here.
Yeah.
I'm out. So Jay, I met Jay because he was actually working for Jimmy a couple guests ago, his band Polar Bear Club.
Okay.
Yeah, so he was working for that band, and he was in charge of our whole tour for 6 weeks. And we just became really good friends. And then we poached him and asked him to work for us. And he did a Warped Tour with us. And in one night in Montreal, we like after the Warped Tour is done, and like the bands just kind of barbecue and drink and hang out like on the grounds of the festival. But we had our bikes with us, and we just like rode into like downtown Montreal, which was like a few miles because we were playing like in an island in the river, like off of Montreal. And then we just started calling ourselves the Bad Boys. And that stuck for until now, forever. Yeah. So we are still the Bad Boys. And then we started talking about doing this band. And Jay wanted to call it Bad Boys 2 after the movie. And so we talked about it for a long time, and then like I flew out and jammed with them, and it went well. But then, you know, I don't live in New York, so they're like, you can be like the Pat Smear, and you can play when you want to play, or you can not.
So you're an unofficial member.
Yeah, I guess. Would you say that's accurate?
Correct. Absolutely,
for sure.
Thank you.
It's funny. It was one of those things that me and Kyle talked about it for a long time, and it was just really trying to force it to happen. And we got this drummer, this very logical guy, and he's just like, "What are you doing? We can't do," just being the logical guy. And I'm like, "Oh yeah."
But I'll also take the blame for it because Kyle was supposed to play bass, and I actually just took his spot. So
Okay.
that was a problem.
Yeah.
True. But it was still a great weekend jamming, and it was funny because we were like, Jay kept wanting to call the band Bad Boys 2 after the movie Bad Boys 2, and you and I were like, maybe just Bad Boys, maybe drop the 2, and Jay was like dead set on Bad Boys 2, and then you guys went and recorded and you put out the music and you were called Bad Bloom. So
okay.
We took inspiration from you, Kyle.
Logic again prevailed, and we called it something that people could latch onto.
Yeah.
Jay, did you used to not have a beard?
Yeah. I don't know.
I feel like I met you a long time ago, but you did not have a beard, and you're very small in the picture. So I feel like I was like, I think this is the same Jay.
Move that closer a little.
Yeah, for sure. I spent a lot of time in Detroit, and I met a lot of great people there. Man, anytime Kyle introduces, what's that?
No, sorry.
Anytime Kyle introduces me to someone from Detroit, I know they're going to be great.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah.
You guys have a good time.
Because my previous times in Detroit, before I met Kyle, they weren't like the greatest times. I was with some heavier bands that attracted people that were a little more scary.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I, selling merch to them was not selling merch to them. It was giving them merch. We'll say.
So they wouldn't beat you up.
Correct.
Oh, okay. Wow. I'm gonna guess like smooth jazz. That was the kind of music.
That was it.
Okay.
Yep.
Sounds about right.
The violent smooth jazz scene.
Yeah. Kenny G, don't fuck with Kenny G, man.
God, nothing gets me angrier than a saxophone.
It was funny. Kenny G, big fan of Lamb of God. I know that because I had a friend who sold merch.
Is that for real?
Wait, is that a true story?
Yeah, I had a friend who worked selling merch for Lamb of God, and Kenny G would come out to their shows like,
wow,
so bizarre.
Yeah, I think his son was a fan, and he became a fan or something. I don't know.
I make fun of Kenny G, but I fuck with Kenny G.
Of course you do.
Yeah.
I'm a nerd.
He's a beautiful man. Yeah. Do you guys want to play a song for us?
Sure.
Yes.
What song are you gonna play?
We are gonna play Sagan. Okay. It's off the record we just put out about 6 months ago. The only thing we've been able to put out because of the situation.
What situation?
I'm
sorry, I'm doing it again.
Yeah, I know. Kate, what are you doing, Kate?
I don't know. I don't see people anymore. So when I do, things are wild.
Okay.
As long as you see color, it's okay.
But yeah, why is it after Carl Sagan?
Correct.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. It actually was really like I told myself I predicted the future because the lyrics are all about, just like how we need to change and how there's so much going on and we're just taking it all for granted. And at the time, it's funny because we live in this tiny apartment in Queens, and it was like a week before Christmas, 2 years ago, before we wrote the song, and Jay was actually sick, so he was in bed sleeping, and I was sitting out here watching TV, and I see this giant explosion in the sky, and I freaked out. It was this giant blue explosion over. You can see like the city skyline, and I was like, "That's it, we're done."
That was me.
Whoa. That was Tony. Tony was talking earlier about being careful about where he farts. So
I'm just gonna say Tony farted, and that's just
wow, powerful.
Yeah,
sorry about that.
Powerful.
Yeah, but if you know anything about like Carl Sagan or read about him, like he was a big believer in like knowing our place in the universe. Like that is the reason why, even more reason why we should all be one.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So the explosion was actually just a power plant that had a little problem, and we survived. But
but it did light up the whole city blue. It was intense.
That's what
so
they
listen
told
closely.
Yeah, that's the government. We need Malachi on for Conspiracy Brother right now.
You ever think about what they're hiding? Hiding. They're hiding.
All
shit.
right. So.
So we can play this stripped down version for you. Usually we are a very guitar effect heavy band, but we kind of rewrote this to work for Kyle's birthday.
Yeah.
Okay. And here's Sagan by
Happy birthday,
Bad Blue.
Kyle.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. The city is where we are from have been abandoned for a long time. We contemplate the absent face of an author. We really felt young. Candles in the sky as my guide. I'm stepping out with one eye closed at the wrong time, but it's been a good time. I'm freaking out. We played too long at the wrong time. We really fell behind. The blue light is so far. I see it burn. The blue light is so far. I see it burn. Burn. Oh. Let's step outside for our Let's step outside for our Let's step outside for our
All right.
Hi.
Yay!
Hey.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank
That was
you.
beautiful.
Yeah.
I like your voice tone. Is that a
Oh,
weird thing to say to somebody?
I mean, I don't think so.
like that.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Cool.
Kate is an audio engineer, so
Yeah.
you know.
You don't even have to use the word tone at the end of it. You can just say.
Yeah.
It's like the tone of her voice is really
Yeah.
Beautiful
You know
tone.
what?
I
knew
like
what
your
I
voice
was
sound and the word sounds you make in your music song.
Yeah.
I'm never
Actually-
talk.
And Jay, you know a lot of notes. That was impressive.
Thank you. I've been working on my
Like it
notes.
seems like you know all 7 of them.
Yeah.
That was great.
Thanks.
I'm so glad you guys could play for us and be here.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we're
Yeah,
so
that was awesome.
honored.
Thank you so much. And I posted stuff in the Facebook chat. Kate, you can
Yeah,
post
I
it to
just
YouTube.
posted it on YouTube.
Yeah,
I
you can
did a
check
good job.
Bad Bloom out on Instagram and Spotify if you want to hear more of their music, which I'm sure everybody will. I definitely
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. I'm always gonna be your bad boy, Jay, and I will always
Thank
do
you.
bad boy stuff with you.
The same right back at you.
Elaborate.
We may get pulled off the stream by Facebook if
Yeah,
you
we
do.
don't wanna-
I'm afraid. Yeah.
Mark Zuckerberg does not like the shit that we pull.
They had a huge meeting about it, I heard.
Yeah. These bad boys, not gonna have it.
Yeah. Yeah. So thanks a lot so much for being on. Like I said, you can viewers check out in the chat to support them, and we look forward to hearing from you soon. And stay
Awesome.
safe in New York.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
All right, bye.
Pretty good.
All right, love you.
Bye, guys. God, I love all your friends. You have some really nice friends, man.
Thank you.
Tony,
Congratulations.
did you say pretty good, Tony?
Yeah, pretty good.
Okay. You're such a hater.
He's the new Nick.
You are the hater, man.
He's the
I
new
am not a
Nick.
hater, bro. I thought it was pretty
Well,
good.
you get caught. You get tagged with the hater tag a lot on Mask Off. You are dubbed the hater of the group.
Oh God.
I'm pretty.
No.
I think that's a
No,
compliment.
Tony
I know. I'm just.
Don't be saying some wild shit sometimes, man.
No, I don't.
Let me tell you about Tony.
No, I don't.
Is that Tony he's incredibly funny, but he's also incredibly insightful. I've had so many conversations with him about the work he does,
Thank you, Kate.
you know,
Oh,
and then
thank
about
you.
like my son, because my son has some
you.
issues. We talked about it, and I think,
You
you know what,
Oh.
Augusty,
August.
stay in your box, all right?
Fine.
I'm talking to Tone.
Stay in your box.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
I
and
will
love
say
you,
this.
Tony.
I will say this. Tone had me laughing like a motherfucker because when Jay said, he had experience with some scary people. I saw Tone.
Yeah. I know.
On his face. He was like,
Yeah, like what kind of scary people, you know? But then when he was like, they were just giving them merch so they wouldn't get killed, I was like, okay, regular scary
All right.
people. It's all good.
The hardcore scene in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was talking about trick and shit. No, I was playing.
Yeah.
You know,
Church
I
was
know.
the one with the radius of Detroit, right? Like he wouldn't let artists come unless they were approved by him.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
The
Luckily, we
no-fly
were
zone.
approved by him.
He on that shit. Tom, what you about to say?
I was about to say, I know it's kind of off topic to what we're talking about now, but back on topic to what we originally was talking about as far as change or whatever. I think part of the things they should be talking about too is some of these freedom fighters, which they are, that fought in the 60s and the 70s, and they got astronomical numbers in prison. They should be out. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And you know, like it's so many African Americans that fought for the same injustices. It's sad that we talking about this in 2020. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the way I feel. And it's going all the way back until the 1930s to the 60s to the 70s. It's people that have died in prison looking at this day to day. You know what I mean? Well, they wouldn't be looking if they did, but it's people that's in prison and
Down
it's
from
people that
heaven.
are dead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That didn't have an opportunity to see this day to day. You know what I
Right.
mean? And I'm not saying that, you know, things that happen different, but it's remarkable to see all these people, the way
Yeah.
they are out there. You know, I was outside yesterday downtown, and it's like, you know, I remember somebody earlier was saying, like, you know, so much work and going into it, like they it's like picnicking and all this other stuff. It's really like they doing shifts, you know, and it's real to get social change, like social injustice change.
Well, I saw somebody tweeted, I don't remember who it was, it said, it's amazing too to see so many out and protesting because so many people right now are also not working. And what that says about the fact that we don't have the time to put forth energy into things like this that actually matter because like of working or, you know, whatever. And it's like, we can't let that distract us after this is all done because this work has to keep, the momentum has to keep up.
First step, defund the police. Second step, prison reform.
And also bring diversity into your life.
Then the third.
What's
is,
next?
I think it should be reparations, and a lot of people,
amen.
They don't like what I'm saying, but hey, I think there should be reparations.
Yeah.
And what reparations look like could be a conversation on the table, but you know what I mean. That word in itself is something that should be talked about.
That word gets so many people mad, and I'm just like, why?
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, that's the thing. I think we there's been too much of pretending that racism in America doesn't exist, or people thinking that it's not as bad as you might think, when in fact it's usually worse. So if it makes people mad and want to talk about it, good. Anything keeps the conversation going and makes conversation turn into change. You know,
Absolutely.
It can't just be talk.
One of my big points that I mentioned, that, you know, when it comes to Black people, we have too many different agendas. You know what I'm saying? So if we are setting a tone for everybody, we need to be on the same accord and talking about the same things. You know what I'm saying? I remember when Obama was going for office and Jesse Jackson was on a talk show and they forgot to turn off his mic. You know what I mean? And he started talking about something.
I want to cut his nuts off.
If this nigga talking shit about the Black church, I'm gonna cut his nuts off. Like, damn.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and I'm like, you're one. Yeah, he did. He
Well, I have
did.
to go listen to it.
Yeah, and I'm like, that tells me you have an agenda. And that's another thing too. Where the fuck is Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson today anyway?
They're busy.
Al Sharpton was at Floyd's. He gave a eulogy at Floyd's memorial. So
I don't know where Messy Jesse at though.
Yeah,
I don't know where the fuck he at, yo.
But Lollipop Head Al was at the funeral.
He is looking real small lately, huh?
But the add on to that Jesse Jackson is like that agenda is like. I remember when Obama, when Obama won, and they showed people crying. They showed, I think Oprah was crying, Jesse Jackson. They showed Jesse Jackson was crying. I saw him crying. I was like, "Fuck you, motherfuckers! Like, fuck you! You was talking all that shit, talking about you want to cut his nuts off. Church shit. Now you crying.
He was
like,
fake crying.
Out of here, man.
They know how to play up.
My mom got mad at me. She was like he's crying because he's emotional. Like we never thought he'd see this. Like, yeah, I get it, but he jealous at the same time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. He tried to run back in the 80s or whatever and catch on that keep hope alive bullshit. Whatever.
Up with hope, down with dope.
And he did it. Dope is gone, guys.
Yeah,
great job.
And we're
because
about to
we had hope. We had the Black church. Up with hope, down with dope.
And with those words from the Reverend Coates, we're going to wrap up this episode of Boxed In, episode 11. Anthony Coates, so thanks so much for being on. We've been wanting to have you on.
Thank you for having me.
Come back anytime.
Hey, that's
check out Tony and Jake on Mask Off this Friday, 9 p.m. on the Planet Ant channels.
Hey, they've become my TGIF show.
Yeah, I watch every episode.
Serious? That's what's up.
We family matters. We family matters.
Yeah,
bang, bang.
Which one of you is Urkel and which one of you is Carl?
Well, he got the glasses.
Definitely Daniel.
Okay.
Well, Daniel's Urkel. Well, I'm Eddie because I'm a son of a cop, so I'm Eddie.
Okay.
And my hairline's fucked, so yeah.
I love your hair. Knock it out.
Yeah.
And this is the crossover where Urkel comes on step by step.
He comes on it?
That's right. Wow.
That
is a deep cut.
Everybody do the Urkel.
So is Malachi Stefan?
Oh, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
He's a young, suave person.
Yeah.
Everybody loves Malachi.
Malachi's very suave.
So I guess that would only make me Carl Winslow then, right?
I guess so,
that's
yeah.
it.
The fuck
Sorry,
out
buddy.
of here.
Yeah. Hey, everybody loves Carl. I get you a blue shirt and
It's
a
either
navy
that.
blue tie.
Hey, it's either that or Waldo. So
Nobody was fucking
The little kid with the Lionel Richie hair. I forgot his name.
Little Richie.
Yeah.
The little boy.
Little
Richie, right?
Yeah.
Little Richie. That's his name.
Oh, was he Little Rich? That's funny because
Yeah.
he did have hair just like Lionel Richie back in the day.
Yeah.
All right. So thanks again, everybody, for watching. Be part of the change. Bring diversity into your life.
Yeah.
I posted links, in the chat for thanks to Bad Bloom for being on.
Yay!
Shout out to Nick Crestwood. He had to drop because of technical issues, but he's always a friend indeed.
They were great.
We love you, Nick.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Kyle.
Yep. And thanks to Planet Ant. Please support Planet Ant. And we'll see you next week. Peace.
Happy birthday, Kyle. Fuck yesterday. Today's